Hey guys, it's Katrina from Real World Season 32. I'm here with Bring Me Your Torch with Jesse and Elaine.
Welcome to another episode of Bring Me Your Torch. I'm Jesse.
And I'm Elaine.
Earlier this week, we released a podcast where we discussed, for a lack of better term, a Twitter war between Kayla from Real World Go Big or Go Home and Mike from Real World Bad Blood. As you know, Kayla is our homegirl, so we may have been a bit biased in her direction. But Mike wanted a chance to clear the air and talk a little bit about what's going on between the two of them. And we're happy to oblige. So, Mike, welcome to the show.
Thank you, man. Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
Fantastic. And the floor is yours to start out with. Clear the air. Go for it.
Yeah, I mean, you guys covered the issue a little bit going back, but she basically came at, I believe it was me and my buddy Pete, Kayla, kind of came to us about ratings and how our season's so boring, and that's how this whole thing kind of started off. And then we were kind of joking around, going back and forth about whose season was going to be better. And to my dismay, she got a lot more views on her season, and a lot. I mean, it was still terrible, but it wasn't compared to other seasons. She still beat mine. So we kind of got to a bit of a stalemate, and I think I got a little bit frustrated. I was like, I can't believe, like, her season was, like, I don't want to say as bad as it was, but yeah, in comparison to other seasons, it was definitely not a highlight season, and mine did even worse. So that's when the periscoping and more of like the personal attacks had started out. But I don't actually know Kayla, I just kind of got to know her from her knowing Katrina and things like that. But since then, to be honest with you, we've patched things up. We're cool now. Actually, I was texting her the other day, kind of joking around about the whole situation. But since the Twitter war, we've kind of put the beef to bed.
Do you have a little bit of a crush on her?
I'm not gonna say a crush. I mean, once I was able to get past like the attitude, I was like, damn, like, and then I found out she was on like Suicide Girls, so I looked up like that shit, and I was like, holy shit, like this girl's actually kind of hot. But she's really cool. Like I said, I'm happy that we squashed that whole situation.
Well, I'm glad we found a middle ground here between the two of you guys because, I will admit we were a little rough on you in some of these early episodes, but that's our MO. We're mean, and then you come on our show and we love you. So
yeah, I'm glad. Hopefully, you guys kind of turn your opinion on me. I know it's not going to be easy, especially after last night's episode, but that's kind of the other reason why I wanted to come on here and kind of clear the air with that situation as well.
Your apology tour 2016 before the new year. Well, yeah, I mean, we can move on to last night. It's certainly been an interesting 24 hours for you, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's been a wild ride the past 24 hours. I mean, obviously I knew last night was coming for a couple months now. And I was really, really worried, to be honest with you. I wasn't sure. I knew I was going to get obviously negative backlash and everything, and I was really embarrassed. Like knowing leading up to it, the past 2 days were just so anxiety ridden. But in all honesty, because I feel like my apology came off and was meant to come off as genuine, and just like a fucking terrible mistake, I think a lot of people picked up on that without me having to really like go on for 20, 30 minutes. And I mean, don't get me wrong, I've gotten like a couple death threats, a couple like, crazy shit. Yeah. But the overwhelming amount of it has been positive. So, or as positive as it can be. So, it's gotten a lot better than I thought.
Yeah, I mean, to me, when I was watching, first of all, you said some things, but they weren't said in a hateful way. So I think that comes off right away that, you said things you shouldn't have said, but you weren't being negative towards somebody, really. And to me, it was just you were screwing around. You said some things you thought were okay to say, which they weren't. And then when you got kind of called out on it, as soon as they start throwing the word racist around, that's scary for somebody, especially when you're on TV and, you've been drinking enough. And to me, you didn't want to deal with it and just got out before it got worse.
Yeah, that's literally, I couldn't have said it any better. I mean, I was near blackout when I what the crazy part was? I didn't even know the exact words, what I said, for a solid month until I was flown back for the after show and I got to watch the episode. And that's when I was just horrified. I was like, I thought I said something along those lines, but completely different. I had no memory of it. So I watched that and was like, oh my God. Like, I didn't even think at the time I was so drunk that anyone was even near me. So I'm like, oh, maybe they just caught me on audio. They don't have me on visual. But in the moment, yeah, man, I was, like I said, I was so drunk that when it really started to sink in what I said, I was just like, dude, I need to I sobered up so quick. And I realized what happened on Are You the One when a situation arose and everyone was really drunk and the situation escalated. So I my thinking was to go into a hotel for the night and then come back and address the house, when everyone was sober. And I wasn't allowed to do that. And it sucks. It really sucks. Because I would have loved to stay.
But everybody in the house agreed that you clearly weren't a racist. So why wouldn't they let you back in the house to apologize? I mean, if you look at last season and what Jenna said, and they just kept her in the house, it's like, really?
Yeah, I mean, I think what was basically, and this is also kind of sucks, is what was basically explained to me was that I gave such a good performance, quote unquote, of wanting to go home, and they took all of that footage and all that stuff, and I mean, they were just like, I sat down thinking I was coming back in the house. I gave my interview, and midway through the interview, they were just like, yeah, after careful consideration, we decided not to let you back into the house. And it was just like a bomb dropped on me. So then I kind of get a little emotional when I'm giving that final interview. And that was pretty raw, to be honest with you, because I wasn't expecting that. I didn't know that. So it's like I'm getting now asked all these questions, and I'm not able to say bye to anybody. Everything is kind of just like really sinking in, like, holy shit. Like I made it like 3/4 of the way, and I'm getting sent home. Like I didn't want this to happen. So it was a lot. And then to think about why I wasn't going to be allowed back in, how this was going to be played up, like the first cast member to go home over a race issue, it was so overwhelming. It sucks.
So why do you think they didn't let you back in then?
I honestly don't know. I mean, obviously I have guesses. I think it could have been for ratings wise, the first person to go home, whatever the case may be. I know last night we were like trending on Twitter. We probably got the most amount of views on the episode, especially after what had happened last season with the whole race issue, and now it happens again this season. I think the dynamic of the house changed, and it definitely did. You're going to see in these next upcoming episodes, somebody just like go crazy. And I think it definitely did change the dynamic.
What is your relationship like with Bud and Murray and MTV? I don't know what you can say, but it ended in a negative way, but are you still on somewhat positive terms with them for the future?
Yeah. I was actually just talking to the producers, joking around a couple of days ago via email. I mean, I left on the way after the interview. I'm not gonna lie, they came up to me, they gave me a big hug. They're like, we know that was really tough for you to go through all that, and they were really cool. Like I have nothing but respect for them. Like I said, that one situation I was still kind of like unclear about looking back on, but other than that, just a lot, very different experience, but things have been ended on a good note. I'm kind of hoping I don't think I'm going to do reality TV again unless it is a challenge. And I've made it very well known that I would love to be on the challenge if I'm still being considered, and they're still very open to it. So hopefully everything works out.
Yeah, I was just gonna say we need to see that trifecta of you on the challenge.
Yeah, that would be sick. I would love that. Are You the One, the Real World, and then the challenge? And then after that, man, I'm good. I think I've had my run of embarrassments.
And I was joking. Just think if they would another season of Rivals. Just think of all of the options they have for you now.
Yeah, I mean, it's. I mean, I don't want to, and I don't know for sure, but I'm pretty sure because of that remark, depending on whoever it is, whether it could be Kayla, it could be Katrina, it could be people from Are You the One, it could be anyone, So and then I have Tori too, as far as the exes are concerned, and then I'm sure Jordan. So I have no idea what's going to happen. It's going to come down to the theme, to be honest. That's what I really think of whether I'm going to be on or not.
And I want to be honest, going back to, you mentioned briefly the Are You the One stuff. I mean, your time on there, it almost reminded me of Popeye when he's like, I stands all I could stands and I can't stands no more. You put up with a lot of the stuff from Amanda. And then, when I watched it, I was like, you know what? Like it didn't seem as big a deal to me as maybe some other people. And I understand it's a tough situation, but you put up with a lot there and just took it for a long time. So I think you were treated a little unfairly, especially since she got physical with you and she stayed in the house.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that whole situation in itself, you would have thought, and I mean, I obviously have, but I'm just terrible with. I can only tolerate so much, and then eventually I snap, and that was what had happened there. And overall, I realized that alcohol and reality TV make great TV, but not exactly the best image for myself. And going forward, I've taken everything as kind of a learning process. And I've just tried to make sure certain things haven't happened again. And I'm hoping that after this, which was a very, eye-opening experience, nothing comes to anywhere near severe in the future with different shows.
Definitely. Well, how's your relationship now with Jordan going? Are you still talking to her?
Yeah, I mean, that's a tricky situation. When I left the show, I had no contact with her for a month. And I had gotten into a relationship with someone else in that month's time. So she came off the show and was kind of under the impression that we were going to give it a shot, because that's kind of where we had left things off. And obviously that wasn't the case. So we weren't exactly friendly. It was kind of like we didn't have a conversation about it, but we just didn't talk. It was kind of awkward. And over the past couple of weeks, I've reached out to her and kind of just apologized about a lot of stuff. And now we're cool. I'm definitely not seeing her on a sexual or relationship level, but I'm sure if I was to go out to Chicago, I would definitely see her.
Awesome.
Better be friends than nothing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, the other thing that kind of came out last night, and let me know if this is too personal. I don't want to make anybody uncomfortable, but you admitted that you ended up in jail for a few days, and that you were afraid for your safety, and ended up joining the Aryan Brotherhood for protection. Can you tell us a little bit about what happened there? And again, if it's too much, we understand.
Yeah, no, I don't mind to. I'm honestly shocked they showed that, to be honest. I mean, given the situation, I understand, because it kind of fits into the whole situation more with what had happened with me. But it was ridiculous, man. I was a freshman in college, and I was caught with marijuana. I got sent to court for it, and I was going to be put on a 6-month probation. And that also happened to be St. Patrick's Day, and I also happened to just get done pledging a fraternity. So that night, my fraternity brothers do a crazy party, and of course, on the way back to the dorm room, we got a flat tire. Long story short, the same cop that saw me 5 months prior, that I just saw 3 hours ago, I see again, and took me right back to the judge, and they threw me in jail for 15 days for the violation of probation. And yeah, I had to do 15 days there. And when I was in there, I was in Virginia. So things were, I guess I was 20, 21 at the time.
They do not play in Virginia. I come from Virginia, in Arlington,
yeah,
Virginia,
yeah.
actually.
It's a commonwealth, so their laws and bylaws, it's kind of fucked up and really harsh. But yeah, so things got really complicated. I guess when I was in there, I was, the youngest kid in there by 9 years. And I was housed with people that were doing a couple of years for serious crimes, and I'm in there for a marijuana charge and a violation of probation. And yeah, I was basically told that there was an inmate there who wanted to quote unquote push my shit in. My third day when I was there, and he was he was an inmate, and my cellmate at the time had heard these rumors, heard me freaking out. I mean, I didn't leave my cell. I was so scared. I'd read books every day, all day. And he basically walked 3 dudes in, and they kind of broke it down for me. That, they would protect me when I'm a kid. I was called college boy and hermit, because I would never leave my cell. And the rule was basically I was not allowed to talk to anybody or sit with anyone. I was only able to converse and kind of sit with them and eat with them. And in exchange for that, nothing, they would have my back or whatever. And it wasn't some people have been made it out to be this hardcore, joined the Aryan Brotherhood. I didn't even
American History X
to come off like that. Yeah, it was blown out of proportion a little bit there, or how people have perceived it. But yeah, that was something that happened to me that honestly changed my life for the better. even though it was a pretty shitty situation.
You know, people want to act like they're big tough guys, but you go to jail. You're right. I'd be scared, the crap out of me. I would not. I'm Jewish, and I would probably do the same thing you did. So I don't judge you for that at all. I mean, it's a scary thing.
Yeah, man. I mean, like I said, I was 20, 21. I was like 150 pounds. You know, I'm in there with like dudes that are like 230, like fucking jail workouts every day. You know, like I don't stand a chance. I'm so scared out of my mind. I did what I had to. That's kind of the way I look back on it. I don't like value anything like that. I don't keep in touch with those people. Like I said, it was down in Virginia. But when push comes to shove, I would like to meet somebody who wouldn't, take a similar opportunity to not experience just whatever the fuck was about to go down. Yeah. But yeah, I was shocked, to be honest, that they'd aired that story, because that doesn't put me in the finest light either. But it's true.
Well, thanks, MTV. I mean, yeah. But I mean, they also aired the fact that, when Peter said that he didn't really believe your story, did that kind of upset you when you watched that?
Yeah, you know what? I had texted Pete that night, because we get the episode, about a day early. And I was just like, dude, like, what's your deal, man? Like every time I see Pete going on and talking about me, it's in like a fucked up kind of way, or he'll make like a remark. And every time you see me go on, I'm not like that towards him. So I was just like, dude, why would you say that? Like, and he says that MTV edited him, and that wasn't pertaining to that particular situation. But who knows? I mean, it was a crazy experience all around.
Well, on to something a little bit lighter. Did you get paid every time you said bad blood? I feel like everyone said bad blood a million times.
It was like one of those movies.
It's like subconsciously ingrained in you. I wish we got paid, but unfortunately we did not. It was kind of like when I was in Ari the One, we used the word like genuine over and over and over. Mm-hmm. And I noticed, it's so funny you bring that up, because I noticed that throughout this season that we kept on saying the term bad blood over and over, and the word twist and bad blood were just the expression that was so sick to hear.
Well, I think you definitely need to clear the air on a lot of things, and I think people will hear this and hear your point of view and know where you're coming from, know that you're a good guy. But before we go, is there anything else you want to either plug or just say, or anything you want our listeners to know?
The last thing I would say is overall, even though this experience or event that occurred when I was there was like really fucked up. I know it's not something that should be taken lightly or even as a joke. The silver lining is almost more important to me than the issue. Obviously I know I'm not a racist, so that's kind of why I took it to heart so much when that word started getting thrown around. I was with Jordan, who was, half, her mom was black, her dad was white. I'm not a racist by any means. Everyone knows that. But that sensitivity and overall bubble that I guess I thought I lived in, or I do live in New York, kind of really was shattered in that moment, because I realized, like, I'm not in Long Island, I'm not in New York. I have to be more conscious of what people go through, and I'm happy for all the feedback I guess I've gotten, both like negative and positive. It's made me look at certain situations a lot differently. And going forward, I learned my lesson. I really have learned my lesson. So like I said, not to downplay it, but the silver lining to the situation really did like wonders for my character. And overall, I guess you could say personal growth, because it really did change the way I looked at certain, situations.
That's awesome. Now, are your group of friends being really supportive of you right now?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of them were under the impression, the way I was playing it up, that it was going to be a lot worse. And like I said, I really didn't know for quite a while what exactly I said. I was so drunk. And they understand it, I mean, to a certain degree. You can't understand something that you don't really know, and I don't mean to claim ignorance, but like being in that situation physically and face to face with it, hit home, I think, a little bit harder, especially with everything going on in the world today. Being politically correct is something that you really have to watch and really open your eyes to certain things that, like I said, I have 3 or 4 good friends, but when you live in that bubble, it's so hard to understand outside concepts when, you're kind of a product of your environment. But they definitely saw. I mean, they see my Twitter and they see the Instagram comments, and they're like, "Holy shit!" So definitely, definitely supportive. But at the same time, it was, they kind of got to see firsthand, just the way that we kind of speak or think that it's okay. Just because everyone's doing it doesn't make it right. And that's probably the best thing you can take from the situation.
Yeah, and life is a learning experience, and I always say it's not about the mistakes you make; it's about what you do afterwards. And I think you definitely manned up, saw what you did, may have been wrong, and owned up to it. And I think that's something that everybody should and will respect.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, a lot of the positive comments are just that. It's that obviously what I said, there's no excuse for it, and I completely back that 110%. But the fact that I had the maturity in the moment as well as like after the fact to know that there's always two different routes that you can take. You can be defensive and be like, come on, like you said, that wasn't meant to be in a malicious way or derogatory sense. It was kind of a joke, like, this has been blown out of proportion. Or you can man up to the fact that regardless if that's the case or not, it's still not right, And a lot of people have given me credit for I guess addressing that, and it is embarrassing. It's always tough to watch yourself say things that or do things that are embarrassing, let alone on TV. And now you're in front of millions of people doing this. So it's definitely a battle, image-wise and whatnot. But as long as you man up and you say you speak your piece, there's really nothing else, from my perspective that I can do, I guess, at the moment.
Okay, well, thanks so much for coming on. We do hope to see you on the challenge, even if it is your swan song in the reality TV world. And we wish you nothing but the best.
Yeah, thank you. If hopefully everything works out, I'd love to jump back on here with you guys, and hopefully it's in a more positive light.
Definitely.
And I wish you guys the best of luck going forward.
Well, it was great talking to Mike, and I hope you enjoyed that interview. And if you did, you can go to our website at www.bringmeyourtorch.com. But where else can you go?
Facebook.com/bringmeyourtorch or Twitter.com/bringmeyourtorch without the H.
No H. You can go to iHeartRadio, Aha Radio, go to iTunes. We got 2 more people who gave us reviews on iTunes. One was 5 stars. One was 4, but I'm happy for it. I'll take it. It's
Thanks, guys.
It's not a 1 or a 2. It's not what I wanted, but I'll take it. You can go to Stitcher or Blueberry if you have a Droid. You can go to YouTube, where we just went over 20,000 views on the Danielle video. Thank you so much, guys. Just go Bring Me Your Torch. It's going to pop up. You're going to love it. You're going to find everything you need. It's going to be great. And after you do that, just remember that you may have come here as a stranger, but you're leaving as a friend. We'll see you next time on Bring Me Your Torch.
Bye.